over to some strange things. UK columns often said to viewers, think about policy and where policy comes from as we see various things enacted in UK. And I received an email yesterday from a lady called Nicola. She said this, I'm just catching up on yesterday's show. This sounds very similar to what's happening in Wales and what I've been writing about over 2 years. Below is just one article. And what was this about? Well, this is Nicola Lund. She is one of the journalists who works for the Conservative Woman. Obviously, TCW has been putting out some really excellent information. And here was the title of her article, Grave New World to the Welsh. But look at the date. It's back on October the 7th, 2021. And if we bring in a little bit of detail on this, she's talking about, well, a rugby trophy, but this is no prize. The triple challenge describes the cumulative and individual impact of Brexit, COVID-19 and climate change on health, well-being and equity in Wales. Public Health Wales, in a, quote, low-profile partnership with the World Health Organization Collaborating Centre, has released its word salad of a report, the first of a series, which provides a strategic overview of these three seismic events and their impact and their interconnectedness. The report presupposes that Brexit could be looked back upon as jointly responsible for all of Wales' future problems, together with the fallout from COVID and the threat of climate change. And if we just put a bit over the top of it, she goes on to say, Wales equivalent to the United Nations Agenda 2030, the Wellbeing of Future Generations Act 2015. And so what we're seeing here is that essentially UN policy, globalist policy, now being driven into the very legislation which is coming out of Parliament in Wales. And here we can see how this is affecting us. And if we add a bit on this, and we'll go back, I'm sorry, but we must do it, the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change. He's talking about massive change across the whole structure of Britain, a new national purpose. Innovation can power the future of Britain. Now, I'm not going to do too much detail on this. I will say that as far as Tony Blair is concerned, if you try and get into this site, you can't do it without being tracked via his cookies. So beware of that, but there's not a lot you can do. This picture just gives you a bit of a feel, because it's all AI based on what's being talked about here with the changes across government, politics, society. But I picked up this. This is a key person mentioned by name in Blair's report. And what's The Guardian saying back in 2020? Kate Bingham, well-connected but under fire UK vaccines chief. Supporters point to a deal over the Pfizer jab, but there is unease over a PR bill and claims she shared information with investors. Well, if we have a look at some of the meat on this, it says that in May, Boris Johnson appointed her as chair of the UK Vaccine Task Force, the crucial body overseeing investment in her coronavirus inoculations. She quickly got or secured £670,000 for public relations support. But here is a key statement by The Guardian. It is, quote, it is unclear how Johnson came to appoint Bingham because there was, quote, no formal process, unquote. She's responsible for developing the strategy for securing access to billions of pounds worth of COVID. And a little bit more here. She's got 30 years experience in the pharmaceutical industry, Pfizer and Entech. She's worked with SV Health. And prior to that, she was working for Vertex Pharmaceuticals. Now, this probably gives us a very good